Hello there and welcome to the news at 6. I'm Tracy Shilshi and I'm getting you the day's top stories, what's developing at the moment. Let's first get you the headlines. Modi's Make in India mantra reaches Germany. The Prime Minister promises a stable and transparent tax regime for investors. Naxalites continue to strike in Chhattisgarh. 5 Jawans are killed in twin attacks in Kanker and Dantewada districts. Supreme Court issues notice on farmers' petition to the Centre on Land Ordinance, seeks response within 4 weeks. And former US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton hits the campaign trail after formally entering the 2016 race to become the first woman US president. Our top story: on the second day of his visit to Germany today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi wooed investors to India. He pledged a stable and transparent tax regime in an effort to boost his pet Make in India initiative. At the Hannover Fair, he said that India is a changed country now, waiting to promote manufacturing to create more jobs back home.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday made a strong pitch for German companies to invest in India. Addressing the Indo-German Business Summit in Hannover, Modi said India is now a changed country with a regulatory regime that is much more transparent, responsive and stable. He promised investors that the government is working on a war footing to improve the business environment further.
The dreams of change in India. We are very keen to develop the sectors where you are strong. We need your involvement. The scope and potential, the breadth and length of infrastructure and related developments is very huge in India.
The Prime Minister also inaugurated the India Pavilion at the Hannover Messe, the world's largest trade fair, along with German Chancellor Angela Merkel. He thanked Germany for inviting India to be a partner at the fair and noted that over 400 Indian companies are participating. It was the best place for Modi to pitch for his pet Make in India initiative. He outlined 3 key factors that make India an attractive destination for foreign investments.
आज भारत पर ध्यान केंद्रित हुआ। 3 प्रमुख बातें, डेमोग्राफी, डेमोक्रेसी एंड डिमांड, वे पूरे विश्व को आकर्षित कर रही है। सभी प्रकार की इंटरनेशनल एजेंसी ने यह माना है कि आज विश्व में तेज गति से आर्थिक प्रगति करने वाला देश हिंदुस्तान है।
Around 120 CEOs and 350 companies from India are participating in this fair. According to some of them, the response has been positive.
The advantage of investment opportunity in the Madhya Pradesh, and so lot of companies are coming. We have this simplifies our all the procedures. Even we are trying and will soon install the facility for e-clearance of all the industrial facilitation and all clearances of for investing in the Madhya Pradesh.
4 major agreements will be signed between companies of both countries on technology transfer and setting up of plants in India. Modi will be leaving for Canada to begin the last leg of his 3-nation tour later on Monday after addressing a gathering of the Indian community in Germany. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And soon after his meetings with business leaders on Sunday, the Prime Minister opened the Hannover Fair, the biggest technology event of its kind in the world. Once again, Modi highlighted the Make in India line, promising an ease in doing business with India and pitched for greater investment. Here's a report.
At the grand opening of the India Pavilion at the Hannover Fair, Prime Minister Modi's theme of wooing investors from Germany and the rest of the world continued into the evening. The event, officially hosted by partner country India, is based around 10 parallel trade fairs, all arranged around core themes of industrial automation and IT, energy and environmental engineering, and industry. The Make in India lion, symbolizing a readiness to welcome global industry into India, was a big focus. The pitch Prime Minister Modi took to the event.
The lions are a symbol of new India. They roar, but with a message of friendship and a promise of partnership from 1.25 billion people of India. This is also the message of 14 states, 120 CEOs and 350 companies from India participating in this fair. We are creating a stable economic environment that inspires confidence at home and abroad. We are pursuing strong official discipline, a fiscal discipline to do that. I know how much Chancellor Merkel will appreciate that point. We are creating...
Prime Minister Modi elaborated on his mission to open up India's economic potential to world industry gathered at the fair, as he spoke of sweeping reforms, technological initiative, and opening up to foreign investments in key areas like insurance, defense, and railways. German Chancellor Angela Merkel also voiced the immense potential of the Germany-India trade relationship.
Ich freue mich heute bei der Eröffnung der diesjährigen Hannover Messe mit dabei zu sein. Die Hannover Messe als die wichtigste Industriemesse weltweit ist ja Jahr für Jahr spannend. In diesem Jahr ganz besonders. Indien ist das Partnerland und Indien wird mit einer Vielzahl von Ausstellern sich hier auch als Technologieführer.
Germany is India's largest trading partner in the EU and one of the top 10 global trading partners. More than 1,600 Indo-German collaborations and nearly 600 Indo-German ventures are currently in operation. Earlier on Sunday, Prime Minister Modi had assured top German business leaders of greater ease of doing business in India.
He did indicate that there is a monitoring mechanism in place for reviewing ease of business in India. He did indicate that he himself was keen on pursuing this, and he assured the business, German business, that they will see significant changes as time progresses.
Prime Minister Modi and German Chancellor Angela Merkel are to hold talks in Berlin on Monday on bilateral relations and issues of mutual interest. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
And on the sidelines of his busy schedule in Germany, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will meet the grandnephew of Subhash Chandra Bose today. Surya Kumar Bose has been invited by the Indian Embassy to attend a reception for Prime Minister Modi in Berlin. Surya Bose is also a German businessman and a member of the Indo-German Association in Hamburg. The meeting assumes significance after declassified IB documents indicated that Netaji's family was snooped upon by the Nehru regime. He is likely to demand declassification of all secret files related to the late freedom fighter.
हमको फैमिली में हमको पता था, मालूम था हमको कि हो रहा है, कलकत्ता में हो रहा है, हमको मालूम था। जिनके ऊपर सर्वेलेंस किया गया है, अमीनाथ बोस और शिशिर कुमार बोस, उनको भी मालूम था, फैमिली को मालूम था, मेरे पिताजी को भी मालूम था। यू आर इम्पाउंडिंग ऑन माई प्राइवेसी। ठीक है, जो हो गया उसको शायद पता था कि हो रही है। और रेंकोजी भी टेम्पल में हम जाएं क्यों? ये तो हम कह रहे हैं कि सुभाष चंद्र बोस के एशेज है नहीं, हम काहे जाए रेंकोजी टेम्पल में? We don't accept the fact that Subhash Bose died in any air crash. That is not his ashes.
All right, on to other news now. And in the fourth attack in 3 days, Naxals struck twice in Chhattisgarh today, attacking security personnel in Kanker and Dantewada districts. At least 5 Jawans were reportedly killed, while an unspecified number were injured.
Barely 48 hours after the attack in Sukma district, Maoists struck once again on Monday in 2 separate attacks. In the first attack early on Monday morning, the extremists opened indiscriminate fire on patrolling BSF jawans in Kanke district. One jawan was killed in the attack.
BSF का जो छोटे बेटा में कैंप है PS बांधे अंतर्गत, वहाँ पर पार्टी आपस में निकली हुई थी, पैदल पार्टी थी। वहाँ पर नक्सलियों द्वारा घात लगाकर हमला किया गया। एक्सचेंज ऑफ फायर हुआ वहाँ पर, और वहाँ पर हमारे BSF के 171 बटालियन के जवान जो रमेश चंद्र हैं, वो घायल हो गए थे, जिन्हें हॉस्पिटल लाया गया। वहाँ पर डॉक्टर ने बताया कि शहीद हो गए।
Later in the day, Maoist triggered a landmine blast, killing 4 jawans and injuring many others in Dantewada district.
करीब 2 किलोमीटर दूर चोलनार से किरंदुल की ओर में एक बहुत बड़ा ब्लास्ट हुआ है। तो क्रिटिकल थे शायद 4 जवान हमारे शहीद हुए और बाकियों को एयरलिफ्ट करके लाया जा रहा है।
Home Minister Rajnath Singh condemned the attack even as he lauded the bravery of the jawans.
पुलिस के सारे उन जवानों को, उनके साहस और पराक्रम का मैं अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूं, उनको बधाई देना चाहता हूं। पूरी बहादुरी के साथ वो लड़े हैं।
State leaders also expressed concern over the rising number of the Maoist attacks.
पहले घटनाएं हो गई हैं, उनसे सबक न लेने के कारण ही ये घटना हुई है। नक्सलियों ने एक तरह से ट्रैप लगाया और उस ट्रैप में हमारे पुलिस वाले फंस गए और बहादुर जवान मारे गए।
Meanwhile, bodies of the 7 STF personnel who were killed in the Naxal ambush on Saturday were recovered from the site. Bad weather and rough terrain had prevented search teams from reaching the spot. The government also decided to confer gallantry awards on those who were killed in the ambush. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The Supreme Court on Monday refused to stay the controversial land ordinance re-promulgated by the centre, but the Apex Court did agree to examine the constitutionality of the President's power to re-promulgate the ordinance on the ground that it subverted the legislative process. It also sent a notice to the Union Government on a plea by several farmers' bodies. Seeking the centre's stand on the plea, the court asked the government to hand over all records leading to the re-promulgation of the ordinance. The court has asked the centre to respond in 4 weeks. Now, even as it issued that notice, it also told the Petitioners' Council that the petition may become infructuous in a while, hinting that the upper house in Parliament may after all pass the bill. The contentious bill has already been passed in the Lok Sabha.
देखो, उम्मीद सरकार से तो उम्मीद नहीं रही, लेकिन न्यायालय से उम्मीद है और हमने यहाँ पर डाला है। ये पूर्ण रूप से उम्मीद है कि किसानों के हक में ये फैसला होगा।
With that, let's take you through some more updates coming in from across the country and nationwide. The Aam Aadmi Party leadership warned party workers against attending a meeting called by dissidents Prashant Bhushan and Yogendra Yadav. The dissidents are holding what they called a Swaraj Samvad in Gurgaon on Tuesday. Senior party leader Sanjay Singh said that the AAP's PAC and National Executive will decide the action against those who violate the party diktat. NHRC Chairman KG Balakrishnan directed the recording of statements of 2 people who claimed to have witnessed the 7th of April massacre in Andhra Pradesh. 20 people were killed in the police firing in Chittoor district. The men claimed that at least 12 of those shot dead were pulled off a bus by Andhra Pradesh policemen. NHRC officials said the 2 appeared before the Human Rights Organization on their own. The National Green Tribunal stayed for 2 weeks its order to impound diesel vehicles older than 10 years. It also asked the city government to submit suggestions on providing incentives to those transferring or scrapping old polluting diesel vehicles. The panel also directed the Delhi government to submit the scientific views by next date of hearing, which would be on the 1st of May. And the BSE Sensex went up 165 points to regain its 29,000 level. It settled on a 1-month high at 29,044. The NSE Nifty also rose for the 7th straight session, mainly on account of better than expected IIP data. In volatile movements, the 30-share Sensex opened firm at 28,955 on sustained buying activity. But on emergence of profit booking, it slipped into the negative zone to touch the day's low of 28,843. A quick break here, but still ahead, we'll get you international news. And Saudi Arabia is rejecting Iran's call for ceasefire in Yemen.
Delayed for so long. India and France conclude the Rafale deal. How will it strengthen the Indian Air Force? and why are some sections opposed to it? Watch the big picture today at 6:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. only on Rajya.
Foreign ministers of Australia and North Korea are in India to hold important business and bilateral talks. While the Australian foreign minister will be attending the 10th India-Australia Foreign Ministers Framework Dialogue, the North Korean dignitary met the Vice President and External Affairs Minister. Australia's Foreign Minister Julie Bishop said that her country ties with India were at an unprecedented high level and there was mutual interest in ensuring sustained growth and prosperity. Bishop will also meet Finance Minister Arun Jaitley later today. She's scheduled to hold talks with Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar and attend the Foreign Ministers Framework Dialogue with External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj on Tuesday. And in a rare visit, North Korea's Foreign Minister Ri Su-yong is also in India. He called upon Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari today. Yong is on a 2-day visit to India and will also meet External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj. He is likely to brief the minister on his country's nuclear program. This is the first visit by a foreign minister of North Korea ever since New Delhi established diplomatic relations with Pyongyang in December 1973. This visit is significant as it comes just a month ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's trip to South Korea, China and Mongolia. And now the big story from the US. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has formally entered the 2016 race for the White House in a bid to become the first woman US president. Clinton is the first Democratic candidate to confirm a run for the White House and is considered the front-runner to win the party's nomination. But the attacks from the Republicans have already begun.
I'm getting ready to do something too. I'm running for president.
It's official. One of the best-known faces of American politics, Secretary of State, Senator and the First Lady, Hillary Clinton is looking to add one more job to her CV. President of the United States. After months of speculation, Hillary Clinton formally entered the 2016 race for the White House. She launched her campaign website on Sunday, telling Americans she wanted to be their champion. In a video on her website, Hillary speaks about her mission as a number of Americans talk about their hopes and aspirations.
She's an awesome woman with experience. She has that it that's going to make the difference. She's going to drive it home. Everything that Obama started, she's going to finish it. Home run choice for the United States.
I think so. She's worked very hard to get to where she's at. And I believe there should be a woman president. It's time already. And I'm very excited. I'm so happy.
Hillary Clinton went through 2 presidential campaigns with her husband in the 1990s and she lost her own bid to Barack Obama in 2008. This time Hillary Clinton enters as the favorite among Democrats while also polling ahead of any potential Republican rival now on the scene. However, the Republicans have been unrelenting in their criticism of her, especially attacking her for her handling of a September 2012 attack on a US diplomatic compound in Benghazi and over recent allegations that she had conducted government communications on a private email server.
We're ready for Hillary. We know exactly what to expect. Hillary Clinton represents the failed policies of the past. Does America want a third Obama term?
Hillary Clinton will spend the next few weeks building up grassroots support in the early Democratic primary states. She's expected to hold her first rally, officially kicking off her campaign in mid-May. Clinton has already had the backing of current President Barack Obama, who said on Saturday that she would make an excellent president. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
All right, former Ambassador Shiv Shankar Mukherjee is joining us in studio this evening to give us a sense of really the excitement around the US as far as Clinton's presidency bid is concerned and what we can expect. So give us a sense really of what you're getting as far as reactions are concerned. What do you feel about Clinton's bid? Is this going to be her time?
Well, it is a very significant development, of course. I mean, it was not a question of if, but when. I mean, her ambition to run for the next presidential race was well known. I served in Washington in the last 2 years of Clinton's first presidency and the beginning of his second presidency. Hillary Clinton, as your report pointed out, is one of the best known, not only one of the best known faces in American politics. She has been within the system for 2 presidential terms of her husband and then as Secretary of State. Before that, before she entered the White House as the wife of Bill Clinton, she was one of the most successful lawyers in America.
Yes.
As far as India is concerned, I'd like to just dispel a couple of myths. One is that because of her previous writings and the reports that came out of her previous visits to India, commentators may feel that it is a given that Mrs. Clinton will adopt a pro-Indian posture. Certainly, her sympathetic feelings for India are in the public domain. In her book, in a rather famous book called "It Takes a Village," she refers many times to her visits to India and all her perceptions here, which were remarkably positive for a foreign visitor. But if at all she wins if she wins the nomination and then if she becomes President of the United States, like any other president, her first and foremost objective is going to be defined, as it should be, with national interest. So when we shouldn't get too excited about the potential for her being the next president of the United States. The other thing I just wanted to point out to your viewers is that there still remains a feeling among those in India who watch foreign policy and comment on it, that somehow a democratic regime, a democratic president in the United States augurs well for India. That is a myth. We've had exceptionally friendly relations with Republican regimes. In fact, if you remember, during Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's visit to the United States, in his meeting with then President George Bush, he referred to the relationship and particularly India's perception of Bush himself in exceedingly romantic terms, saying that India was deeply in love with him. So that is not something that should enter into the debate.
All right.
The final thing is, just one line more, the final thing is that there will be speculation as to whether America is ready for a woman president. Frankly, that was exactly the debate that raged as to whether America was ready for a black president just some years ago. And now you have a 2-term black president in Barack Obama. So I don't think that really matters at all. It will be her, what Colin Powell called the fire in the belly, the passion with which you approach the presidential race, the determination with which you do it, and most of all, one thing in her favor, which I know from my serving in Washington, there is a thing in the Democratic Party called the Clinton Democratic Machine. There's a huge influence that the Clinton and the Clinton supporters have within their own party system. And that should at least make it almost inevitable that she should get the nomination.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, compared to 2008, where she did have to beat Barack Obama and eventually did not, this time there hardly seems to be anyone, so that is one thing which is perhaps going...
but of course things can change very fast in
that's
politics.
Right. All right, Mr. Mukherjee, thanks so much for joining us and giving us your insight into what really we can expect in the US and how India should be actually gauging those developments there as well. Meanwhile, let's head on to more international news. And Saudi Arabia has spurned a call by Iran to withdraw from Yemen while accusing it of meddling in the country's affairs. The Saudi-led airstrikes are now targeting key rebel controls in Aden. Meanwhile, the US has sought a greater role in the Saudi campaign amid doubts whether Riyadh can actually achieve its objectives or not.
Despite heavy bombing by the Saudi-led coalition in Yemen for the past 2 weeks, there seems to be no let-up in the offensive by the Houthi rebels. Saudi warplanes are now targeting the presidential palace located in Aden, which is under the control of forces loyal to President Saleh and Houthi rebels. The strikes have even battered several Houthi positions in Yemeni cities. On Sunday, airstrikes hit an airport in the Houthi stronghold of Sada, as well as areas in Shabwa, Sana'a, Taiz and Aden. Iran had earlier called for a ceasefire and dialogue among all the warring factions, but the suggestion has been dismissed by Saudi Arabia. Speaking at a joint news conference with his French counterpart in the Saudi capital Riyadh, Foreign Minister Saud al-Fasl had said Tehran should not interfere in the Yemen conflict.
ونحن لم نأتي لليمن لغاية في أنفسنا. نحن أتينا لليمن لمساعدة السلطة الشرعية، وهي الطرف الوحيد الذي يمكن أن يتكلم بها اللغة التي تكلمها فضيلة الإمام.
Saudi Arabia says the strikes have prevented Houthi rebels from making further advances. They found support in France, who says they want to help find a solution.
Une solution soit trouvée qui permette de respecter la légitimité du pouvoir sur le terrain et de mettre fin au conflit qui ensanglante ce pays très proche de l'Arabie Saoudite. Et la France a dit sa disponibilité pour aider à trouver.
Officials have announced that US will be expanding its role in Saudi Arabia's campaign in Yemen. US will be vetting military targets and searching vessels for Yemen-bound Iranian arms. On the humanitarian front, the Red Cross sent a second plane load of urgent medical supplies. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said he was concerned by the fighting and urged for peace talks. The escalating feud between Saudi Arabia and Iran has inflamed conflicts and sectarian rhetoric around the region. It has dampened any hopes that there will be a swift end to the fighting in Yemen. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's get you some other international news in Global Buzz. Islamic State militants claim responsibility of attacks on embassies in Libya. They carried out blasts outside the Moroccan embassy today. Earlier, they had attacked the South Korean mission in Tripoli. 2 security guards were killed in Sunday's attack at the South Korean mission. 13 people were killed in 2 separate bomb blasts in Egypt. A car bomb targeting a police station in Al Arish killed at least 7 people. In another attack in Sinai Peninsula, 6 soldiers were killed in a bomb blast. The army issued a statement terming both attacks as terror acts. China has decided to cap visits to Hong Kong by Shenzhen citizens. The residents will now be able to visit Hong Kong once a week and not stay beyond a week with immediate effect. The move is an attempt by Beijing to ease growing anger in Hong Kong over shopping trips by mainlanders who are taking advantage of lower taxes. And that's it for the moment. Thanks so much for joining us.